Yes. Please, how are you all doing?
Please, we are fine. Thank you. Yourself?
Fine,
Oh,
thank
I'm
you,
also
madam.
fine. Thank you. Good. So, do I have the permission to start? We're supposed to start at 8. Do I have your permission to start? Who's the class rep?
Madam Alice.
Esther, we should start?
No, it's Alice. Alice is the class rep, please.
Alice, where is she? Alice, she hasn't joined yet.
I think she joined and left. I don't know. But madam, I think we can start because you told us last week that for you at 8, it's when the class is supposed to
Yes,
start.
so that as we go to this course, we will not leave out the discipline of time management. Very, very important. So if we say that we are all meeting at 8, we have to endeavor to be here at 8. Yes, I agree that sometimes some circumstances may not enable you to be here, but that should not also hold the majority who are able to come. So let's start. Now, last week we did something. We look at the overview and we also look at the evolution of human resource management. Now, what did you take with you? What did you take? What actually comes to your mind about all the things that we did last week? Nana Bedu. Anything that, even if it's one word, a letter, something.
Madam, can I
Yes.
come?
Yes.
Madam, what I got from it was that HR has moved from a more simple, let's say, phase to a more complex one, in that first it was centered more on just the administrative part, which was just recruiting, training, compensation. But now it has delved more into an area where the the person or the personnel or the employees, the employees' capacity, or what can be gotten from the employee, is tapped and then used as a resource to kind of like project the company's progress. So it came from a more simplistic part to a more complex situation whereby the person now becomes an asset of the company and his or her talents are used to progress the company as a whole.
Thank you so much. Let me
Okay,
tell
hello,
you
madam.
something. Nanabedu, wait, let me say something. Those of you
All right.
who have opportunity to study international human resource management, our brother used a word, and that word is more paramount, or that word is used when we are looking at international human resource management. The word complexity is used, all throughout the study of international human resource management. What it says is that when domestic human resource management activities move from the domestic shore and has a look at international issues and even global HRM, the word complexity, they say all the activities of the domestic that are done in the domestic level become so complex at the international level. I just want you to take that also in your mind, that the word complexity, it's what we use when we are talking about the activities of human resource management in the international arena. We say they become so complex and in so many ways, because there's cultural shock. You have to take cognizance of culture, language, time, recruitment issues, spouse issues are so important at the international level. So the authors of HRM, especially the human resource HRM, use that word strongly. Now, I intentionally brought this out so that our brother's explanation of the HR moving from personnel management to personnel administration to personnel management to the human resource management make it more strategic, because the human being is now a centerpiece of the whole thing to make the organization achieve its objectives. But take note how you use the word complexity. I just want you to understand. But thank you, Mr. Hinakwa. So,
Yes,
Asiedu.
yes, madam.
Yes.
So please, from last week, one of the things I picked up was that human resource is something that has changed over time. And initially, it was known as personnel management, where it focused on payroll and compliance to labor laws, and didn't really look at how employees fare in terms of their well-being. So it was later on that human resource changed over time, and now employee well-being and also aligned to organizations' business strategies and all that, because they realized that the human beings were no longer just dispensable and seen as costs, but valuable assets. Thank you.
Awesome. But note that it started at personnel administration and moved to personnel management and moved to HRM. Thank you very much. Yes, Esther. Esther.
Yes, Doc.
Yes. What
All
did you
right.
take with you last week? Yes.
All right. Where do I include? They've said a lot. So what I also took is aside HR. So initially, even in the organization, HRM wasn't really an integral part of the key management. But for now, because they've realized the pivotal role of HRM seems to be part of the pivotal role of the main organization in most of our institutions now, because of the importance role HRM now plays. So now we realize that most HR managers are part of important meetings and all, because they know that the employees are not just, how do I put it? The employees are just not, they just don't play a role. They know their importance now. So in decision making, now HR managers play an important role.
All right. Thank you so much. Now we mentioned models that gives us an understanding of the concepts. What are some models we talked about last time? Models that give us an understanding of the concept of human resource management. What are the models?
Madam, the matching model.
Thank
We
you.
talked about the matching model.
The matching model. And how do we explain it?
We said it was the Michigan school in 1984 that made an explicit statement about the concept of HRM. We said that they believe that the HR system should be managed in a way that is more harmonious to an organizational structure.
Excellent. What other model did we talk about? Now, some of you should be thinking about the two great authors and their definition of human resource management. We'll come to that. Yes, what other model did we talk about? Yes.
Madam, we talked about the fit model.
Okay, so the fit model also, when we talk about the fit model, we're talking about how to link.
It says that the organization strategy is there, but it's fit to the organization's achievement. That is their strategy's achievements.
Okay, so you have taken us very far, but that's fine, because we're looking at how to link the organizational strategy to that of HR strategy. So we're looking at some models to understand the level of correlation, the level of linkages. That's why we talk about the fit model. I'm talking about the models that were used for us to understand HRM. So somebody has talked about the matching model. There's another model. In fact, we have so many. I told you the guest model, so many of them. But we concentrate on only two. Which other model did we talk about? The Harvard framework, if you have forgotten, the Harvard framework, who take cognizance of the stakeholders' issues to develop policies and all that. Okay, now let's come back to what Alice talked about, that we wanted to understand to what extent this hula baloo, this so much talk about linking HR, the business strategy of an organization, linking its activities to that of HR. What so much talk about it? We came up with some models to explain, and Alice has told us about the fit model. What other models did we talk about? Oh, let's make the class interesting. Yes. What other models? Miriam. Oh, what they are calling a brownie in Katia is here. Grace. Oh, don't disappoint me. But somebody has even given us an idea. The fate model. Then what again?
Okay, Doc.
Robert.
I think we had the separation model.
The separation
Yes,
model.
so there's separation
What
model.
does it
We
mean?
had that, and then so that talks about not having constant relationship with so like HR not having relationship with the organizational strategy. So
Okay.
it's more of like before HRM, or let me say HRM then and HRM now. That's how the separation model defines it. Because in the earlier centuries or the 20th century, HRM was just on the administrative side. HRM was not sitting with the board of directors or on the organizational organogram. They are not even at the top, let's say, the very top three important people in the organization. But then for now, at least when you look at the organizational chart, you see HRM maybe sitting right underneath the CEO or the MD, depending on the organization. So the separation model, yes, it talks about not having a relationship with HR, not having a relationship with the main business strategy. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Robert. Yes. Who else? Jessica. Jonathan. Hey, so that's we did last week. Gone to the drain.
Yeah. But honestly, it looked like I missed that part of the lecture, so I'm
Okay.
actually hearing it for.
Confused.
Yes, please.
Don't be confused. Okay, who was here and remembers the other models? Yes. Wisdom.
Doc, please, we have the dialogue model and then the holistic model.
Good. The dialogue, the holistic, and then the HR-driven models. Thank you so much. Now, let us look at the definitions. There are numerous definitions, but we are particularly hinged on to two, the Dessler and the Armstrong. And I've told you that if you study human resource management anywhere and you don't come across Armstrong, then you haven't done HR. It's just the same way of studying marketing management. If you don't study, if you don't read Kotler, then you haven't read any book. But I mean, that's been the tradition. Please, what are the two definitions? Why did they say that what they said is so important to us? There are two major words that they all used, and I want to hear that. Yes.
Madam,
Madam.
Armstrong
Grace.
talked about HRM as a strategic and clear arrangement approach to manage people and then to enhance or ensure that the organization achieved its performance.
Okay.
So that
Very
was for
good.
Armstrong.
From
And then
Armstrong.
Detla also said it's a process of acquiring or to train, appraise, and compensate employees and attending to their labor relations like health, safety, and fairness, and other, etc.
All right.
You.
Thank you.
Madam,
Thank you.
please, I want to add to Desla.
Okay, good.
Okay, so Desla also spoke about the managerial activities. He spoke about the life cycle of the employee, that is from recruitment to separation, the legal responsibilities, performance, that is the focus of DESLA, definition of HRM.
Thank you so much. Now, all the things you heard last week, how practical do you see human resource in your organization? I'm sure if you are not working, how many of you are not working? So that if you're not working, I won't bother you.
Dr. Asiedu.
Yes.
Okay, so I have resigned now, but at least about a year ago.
Oh,
But
you
I
haven't.
yes, doing my own work now.
And then you are working. What does it mean that you are not working? So I'm coming back to you. I'm sure you are doing your own business. So how practically do you see human resource management in your new business? I want people to use the theory, take the theory and see its application, real application in what you do. What do you see? Even if you are not in HR department, do you see anything in your organization that reflects anything that you have heard? Yes, what's the practical component?
Madam.
Yes,
Yes,
tell me.
Doc, great.
Grace,
Okay, so when I look at modern HRM, which focuses on employee engagement, innovation, and what I see in my organization, we don't only focus on the financial, that is the payroll, but there are activities that, for example, we have health talks, mental health talks. All these are to build us, because the organization is not only thinking of us growing financially, but our
the well-being.
So the employee, yes, employee engagement I'm now appreciating the employee engagement activities, the sustainability activities, the for example, the CSR activities that HR brings up. Yes, I'm seeing that now HR is not just, as the evolution mentioned, that HR is not just focusing on payroll and all that, but it's driving sustainability, is driving everything that is driving innovation and focus on growing there or helping to the organization. So that's what I see in my company.
Excellent, Grace. That's excellent. Yes, Robert.
Yes, Doc. So for my organization, I would say that yes, the current, when we are looking at the evolution and then now, yes, the difference is very glaring or very clear, because now the HRM is thinking about the employees' well-being, the employees' development. So let's say for us, we have learning programs. So HRM sends us like certification programs for us to study on the learning platform or the learning portal. So we educate ourselves, we earn certificates on that. There are training programs that are run by the company, whereby at least if it's not even in line with your particular role or your current role, you're able to grasp some information. And then when there are new openings, you have that theoretical idea or knowledge about the new role you want to move into. So for this particular HR, yes, it's centered on employee development as well. You're not just working and earning salary, but at least you are building yourself up. And then it helps you as an individual, and then in the long run to help the business. Thank you.
Fantastic. Great. Thank you so much. Alice.
No,
Yes.
please, I will talk about the health aspect and then promotion and appraisal. You know, with this HRM, it has really helped employees, unlike the past, where employees will work without giving any health assurance or any money or something that you are supposed to use it to take care of yourself. But with this HR, I think there is a policy that you've been given this amount of quota for your health as an employee, and that one encourages you more. That at least you can work with your all, even when you're not feeling well. The organization is there to support you in health wise, and also appraisal. It will help you to know whether you are working or you are not working. Your target, were you able to achieve your target or not? Unlike first, where there will be some biases with someone I know, okay, this person is doing well, this person is not doing well, without maybe knowing through the appraisal to find out if the person was able to achieve a target given or not. And then with the promotion, comparing this HR to the past, at first, you can work for so many years. It takes the manager or someone or a favor for the person to recommend that, okay, this person has been in this field for so many years and he or she needs to be promoted. But now there is a system that when you are due, you can file for it. So I think this HR has really helped, unlike the past HR. Thank you.
Thank you, Alice. That's wonderful submission over there. Jonathan. Jonathan will be the last person, then we start what we want to do today. Yes, Jonathan.
So for me, I'm looking at it, the practicality. I'm looking at it vis-a-vis what transpires where I find myself.
Okay.
And I'm looking at, I'm new to HR, so it's opening me up to look at what we are doing as against what I'm learning.
Okay.
And also as an Osofo, how I get to integrate some of this knowledge and skill within the faith-based system.
Good.
With other things where pay what do you call it, salaries and stuff, because it's faith-based Christian, so it's not so much of, but how to be able to, what I want to say is that within the corporate settings where one is paid and to do certain kind of things, sometimes it's easy to work around. I'm looking at how I get to integrate this with dealing with people who you are not actually paying, however, get to move
How do you carry them along?
Exactly.
How do you carry them along? How did they buy into your faith things that you are doing, and how do they support your vision and mission and all that? Yes. Okay. So I'm so interested in what you want to achieve. That's wonderful. We'll get there. We'll get there. All right. Thank you. So, today we are going to move a step further to look at our lecture 2. Now, our lecture 2 one second. Our lecture 2 I want to share lecture 2, but it's not giving me the chance to share lecture 2. And why are you not giving me the chance? Oh, I'm not sharing anything. Oh, 1 second. Okay. So why is it not popping up? Uh, so our session 2, we are going to look at fundamental concepts. When they say something is fundamental, then it means it's basic, the primary things. So we're looking at fundamental concepts, principles, and practices of HR. This lecture have 2 sessions. Even I forgot about the third one. I did not upload that one. The first one, we are just going to look at key HR functions that you are aware. But our focus, which probably is not directly stated in the slides, but our focus is their relevance, their strategic relevance in contemporary organizations. So if you say contemporary organization, if you talk about recruitment, how do we see recruitment in contemporary organizations? That's the focus I want you to have. If we talk about onboarding in a contemporary organization, in our current business environment, what do we see? We're also going to look at how to use HR planning, recruitment selection, and performance management frameworks to real organizational context. Real. How do we see these things done? And we also analyze and evaluate compensation and reward systems, because we've seen that there are tools for employee motivation, retention, and organizational performance. The third part that you don't have the slides, but we'll talk about it, is the legal component of HR. In fact, you cannot be fooled if you don't study the legal, the ethical, the moral issues of HR, because you are dealing with people. And how do you motivate them? How do you use legal backing to take decisions that affects them? We hear of labor law, we hear of policies on recruitment, on sanctions, dismissal, termination, theft. We have so many policies in our organization that are legally bound. But what is so crucial about all these legalities are that, what are the ethical components? Because I don't like Jonathan. Jonathan has not done anything. Mercy has done the same thing. You pardon Mercy and you punish Jonathan. They are ethically not right, and also legally not good. So these are things that we'll look at with this second lecture. So like I have talked about. So what are fundamentals of HR management? Again, we have come to the point that the HR strategy and business results. We have come to the point the model that says that when HR is driven in the organization, it will have results. We have come to the point again that the business strategy of the company. Last I was teaching somebody, madam, you like using the organization. Which one? What's the difference, organization and company? I said, oh, you don't know. So what's the difference between organization? Because some companies cannot be referred to as, some organizations cannot be referred to as companies, but they are organizations. So take note. I want to be a bit fast because we have a lot to do. So business strategy of the company. So let's say company, Alpha, our company. And this Alpha or Omega company has business strategies. It wants to be a leader in the markets, wants to have greater market share, wants to be productive, profitable, wants to diversify its products and have businesses, have more people patronizing their products. They have competitors in the market. So they have to come up with programs, activities, plans, blueprint strategies that will outcompete their competitors. But what is essential here is that that company, be it Telecel, be it MTN, be it Unilever, be it University of Ghana, be it Kolebu, whatever company or the organization that they are, what we are saying is that whatever decisions and whatever plans they have to be linked properly to HR strategies before they can have business results. But then somebody will say that, what about the finance? What about marketing? What about the engineering aspect? What about, yes, they are all equally important. The functional duties are very important. But our focus is that the HR strategy of every organization must be solid enough to help the organization achieve its strategy if you want to see results. And it's about recruitment and selection, it's about training and development, it's about performance management, reward management, and career management. We will look at career planning in details. We'll look at compensation today, and a bit of all these things, we are going to look at them today. Now, planning is important, but then planning has to do with the key things. I don't know whether it's this class that will describe what is job analysis, what is job specification, and what is job description. Now, the company strategy must be assessed with a job analysis. HR's great function, which is usually silent on, is the job analysis. To be able to describe, to be able to specify the kind of job, the kind of task, let me use task, that individual in the organization is supposed to do. So the design of the organization structure shows specific units, division of labor, specialization, whatever. But what is the task? What is each supposed to do? And when it comes to manpower planning, this is very important because it informs it. What staff do we need to do the job? What kind of staff? What staff is available within our organization? Do they match? So the planning inform all these things because, and you can get the information when you have done your appraisal, when you have a company data bank of what the people, what they do, when you have training system, employee management and all that, it feeds into your job analysis. And then it's also able to have impact on the kind of salaries or wages you provide. Now, what is important is this, that when you do the job analysis, if you have known what type of people do we need and how we should recruit them, then it means you have to rescind your decision. So if you have known, you need to do something about it. You need to have a system to review your job analysis because it influences your manpower planning. Now, manpower planning is just simply planning for the supply, the demand, and the supply of employees. Those who do economics, demand and supply. How many do we need? Now we are a big organization of 1,000 employees. If you are automated, you'll be able to know at the end of the year, those who exit statutory, maybe those who are going on retirement. Those, if you look at trend of things, those who are likely to be terminated or dismissed, those who are likely to leave the organization, maybe just leave the organization because let's say that Heyman in one of the departments and it's causing a lot of problems. So they are likely that some may leave the organization. So your manpower planning must inform you of how many people this organization may need. Sometimes the organization may come out with a change program. Nobody's probably leaving, but then you are introducing new programs. Like last time we talked about the health sector, there are new machinery. So you need the telemedicine, whatever. You need people who understand the use of gadgets to be able to do their work. So you find out that you need more people, skilled people, competent who can handle some of these machines. So maybe one unit, you that no, we need to add 2 or 3 hands. But what we are saying is that factors exist for you to do the forecast. And one factor is your projected turnover. How many people, as I said, are likely to resign or likely to be terminated or likely to go on retirement? Again, the quality and nature of your employees in relation to what you see as the changing need for your organization. So the changing need could be the introduction of projects, new projects that are being introduced in your organization. What is so crucial about this forecasting, looking at the demand, assessing your demand and supply of employees, is the financial resources available to your organization. That's why I said HR cannot do it all, even though the focus is on them. You need budget. What kind of budget? How do you get a budget? It's from the finance department. To say that you want to employ 6 people, our budget cannot contain them. So you have to reduce them to 2 and give them double up roles and look at how much you pay them and all that. Now there are techniques to determine number of recruits. So we are on planning, forecasting. Before HR can do proper planning, they have to look at trend analysis. What is the trend? I mean, when you hear the trend, it tells you that how things have been. So if you look at the trend of your organization, you'll be able to tell the number of people who are likely to leave. Because your past employment history says that the maximum time anybody has stayed is 6 months or 1 year. A trend. Or if you look at the trend, you see that retention rate is high because the employees are highly engaged and they're also highly motivated. And they want to work all their hours for the organization, for the good of the organization. So a study of the firm's past employment needs over a period of years to predict future needs. Now, if the organization has high employee turnover, then you know that, I mean, anybody who comes, go. So, I mean, the plan will be very, very difficult for HR. So we are guided, HR should be guided by a trend analysis. Again, ratio analysis. It's a technique that shows future staff needs by using ratios between sales volume and number of employees needed. So ratio analysis is like this teaching. So how many teachers to this course? And the university has say 1 teacher to a course. Now, assuming we're in our 500s, 200s, are we still going to use 1 teacher or 1 lecturer to take 200 master's postgraduate? No. No. So ratio analysis, need to forecast. Let's assume that we are a manufacturing company and we have an outlet for retailing. And many people are coming. You have a shop. Are you going to just take 1 person to about 10,000 goods? You would say that, no, we need 2. Let's have 2 persons. 1 may fall sick, or even 1 may be very vigilant as people come and buy and all that. So ratio analysis is also important. So ratio and trend are all techniques that determine recruitment. The other aspect is called macroeconomic conditions of a nation. So trend, ratio, macro are factors that determine recruitment. And macroeconomic conditions is so interesting. Now, if we look at our economy, you see that there are more people looking for job than the existing job. And according to recruitment techniques, according to recruitment determinants, it's good for organizations. When there's so many people looking for job, when there's oversupply, it gives the organization, it gives HR an opportunity to get more people to sift from. So there's usually an oversupply. When the economy is difficult, or the number of applicants will much more be higher than the demand. So in such a, the company will find relatively easier to select new employees from the large number of applicants. You see the world. So when there's that, it's supposed to help the organization. What we see this time is outsourcing. What do we see? Outsourcing. Most organizations are not using their own systems to recruit. Contract staff is what we see. Apart from basic public sectors, most of these private sectors are outsourcing. Previously, you can use advertisement in the dailies, in their websites, and you can apply. But these days, everything is out, so you will not even know who the HR is. They'll just give everything. They've given all out to outsourced companies. What are some of our HR outsourced companies that you know in Ghana? Yes.
Learning services.
Okay.
Learning services.
Montran.
Good. So, Jobber man, eh? Are they still in
Yes.
existence?
Yes.
So they are all outsourced. I've told you that we always look at contemporary issues with regards to what we are studying. Now let's move to training. It's also an activity. It's a fundamental activity for HR, training. Now, if we look at it sequentially, we say that HR will have an opening, where the opening is and advertise. The advertisement could be in different ways. But in contemporary, we see that advert may come, but it's outsourced. So the recruitment, other assessment center, and the selection and the onboarding are done at the assessment centers or the outsourced companies. Then the person comes on board. Now, when the person comes on board, there are 2 things that are likely to happen: orientation and training. However, training also becomes very paramount in some organizations after performance appraisal. So you are brought on board, You are giving your tax, you are giving your schedule, you go continue to work in a department. Now, after a 6 months or 1 year, depending on company's policies, then you are called to assess what you said you will be able to do. After the assessment, the loopholes or the gaps reveals that you need training. So what I'm saying, there are two ways about this. Some companies will give you training on what we call on-site training, hands-on training before you do the work. Some will also wait for you after your performance appraisal, where they'll be able to know your deficiencies and help you out. However, when HR is considering training needs, there's so many things you have to do. The training process has a training needs analysis. It has a training objectives. It has training delivery, who will deliver the training, and also evaluation. More importantly is that modern organizations cannot just do training without evaluation. So that's what we call return on training or return on investment. The contemporary HR or the business world requires that when HR conducts training for its employees, not just the feedback, but there should be a system to evaluate that the employee who has been given training has improved. So if he's in the sales sector, he's doing more sales. If he's a customer service, he's politely receiving new clients that is improving or imparting on the organization activities. If he's a teacher and he's been given training, he's teaching and students understand his or her teaching, and there's improvement in student performance and all that. So training is very important. But in our contemporary world, in our contemporary business environment, training requires that there's an evaluation by HR to ensure that it has impact. That's why we say we learn return on investment. So the process requires HR, what training is for this person on this job. Objectives. You cannot have a training for any group of people or individuals without an objective. Without an objective. So I can ask you, design a training for 5 employees in the HR sector or HR department. One is going to look at compensation. One is going to be in charge of training and promotions. One is going to be in charge of salary, compensation. One is going to be in charge of administrative issues. So I give this to you to develop a training material or a training something. And that training, you should be able to tell me that you have done your needs assessment and these training are required. And you have to state your objectives to carry out the training. And in that process, you must also be able to state who will deliver the training. Are you going to use internal staff in the organization who have the requisite skills, or you're going to outsource them, going to use external person? You should not forget to show how you're going to evaluate the training. Very, very important. Measure, reaction, learning behavior. Learning and behavior. When you have training, your behavior must show that you have acquired some knowledge for your organization. But sometimes what do? We go for training, we don't care. They say we should go. That's what we all say. They say we should go for training. So, and this training is boring. The woman, the person who is talking about himself and all that. No. So HR must have a good training process that we are talking about. So the tax analysis, assessing training needs, means that you must know what each is going to do. You have to analyze the job to identify the skills required so that an appropriate training program can be instituted. So there are two assessments you do as well. You do what you call task analysis and you do competency analysis. Listen to that carefully. You are going to do training needs assessment. It's a process. We've asked you, we are tasked to do that. When it comes to training needs assessments, you have to do two things, very, very important. You have to do the task analysis and you have to do competency analysis. So if I'm from PricewaterhouseCoopers, I'm an external management consultant, and I come to your organization, HR department, and ask about your training process. I'm expecting you, the HR director or manager, to tell me that, yes, the process, these are the process. We do needs assessment. And our needs assessment, we do tax analysis, and we do competency. And when you tell me these things, I'll know that you are up to the task. You don't do things just anyhow. So the assessment you do must first look at the job. And then competency. How are you able to identify deficiency and then correct them in training program? Let us say that you have a project manager, and project managers, they have to do presentation. Their clients, their investors, and they have to have the requisite skills to do presentation. And you realize that your project manager lacks confidence. You'll be shaking. You have to do presentation and skills training for the person. You would have noticed that he or she lacks it, and incorporate that in the training program or some other development intervention. So you go to do courses that talks about presentation. So all the courses, you come and do presentation on yourself. They will teach you how you should hold yourself up, how you should stand in the podium, how to look at the faces of people, how should be your composure when you are talking. So you give these skills out. Now some people will do present. When you can't learn to do present, they'll be hiding behind friends. They don't want to come up. It's not your fault. The HR has not identified in your area of work that you may need it. But it's part of employability skills that the university expose you to those things, but it's time constrained. So competency analysis must be done under your training. Now the competency analysis has something to offer. It is believed that competency analysis is very, very important. Now, when you interview somebody and ask the person, how competent are you in this area? Oh, I am competent. It's just a general statement. Competency analysis level is where you assess the gap. You're able to know the gap. So those who are truthful to themselves will say, well, I have writing skills, I have analytical skills, I have problem-solving skills, but I don't have presentation skills. So that is a competency. And if the employee is truthful to themselves and tell you, you'll be able to build it up. If not, you have to observe. You have to observe. So require competency level for a certain position. Requires that you provide training for the person. So you see, training a process, competency analysis, objectives, delivery, evaluation. Under analysis alone, we do trend, we do task, and we do competency. And competency analysis is able to help us to know the competency guide and be able to write proper training for them. Now, this is an example of what you call competency profile per position. Competency profile per position. Has the screen sharing stopped?
No, madam.
No,
Okay.
madam. No, madam.
So if you look at competency profile per position, there are some items here. The position is training and development manager, recruitment supervisor. Now, HR must have some issues here. Required competency for each, and find out and grade it, and take the scores and know the competency type. So let's take, for instance, training and development manager. A training and development manager must have communication skills. Now, these days, if you go to YouTube, there's a constant talk on developing communication skills. Constant talk. And people should assign or people should enroll to acquire, then they call it as a modern or what contemporary issue. So in the training and development, you HR should be able to know that the required competence is communication skills, public speaking. The person who is being the training manager must have some leadership skills, must also understand how to do training needs analysis. Because we'll just talk about tax analysis, just talk about competency analysis. So the person doesn't know, how would we be able to do it? Then material development. So the training, what materials are you going to use? And training, understand training evaluation. Now, let's say that you give this to somebody you are asking to be a training manager. The person take, let's say 1 to 5. 5 is excellent. 1 is 0. 1 is sort of not competent. And then the person take communication 3, public speaking 2, leadership 4, training needs assessment 1. He doesn't know. Material development 1, training evaluation 1. This will guide you to know where the deficiencies are, where the gaps are. But if say communication skills 5, public speaking 5, leadership 5, training needs assessment 5, material development 1, training evaluation 5, then it means that the person cannot develop the kind of material you are requiring to do the training. And so you provide it. Now, the seriousness of this is, how many of our HR people understand that if I'm giving this work to this person, this is the skills. That's why I like the distance learning thing. We're asked to develop a material and provide the kind of skills that you acquire as a student and the kind of competencies you are supposed to acquire. And these are some of the competencies you should acquire. That if I'm working HR, I should have understanding of required competency per position. And you see, if you have 500 people occupying a position, you yourself, you get tired. You see how the work of HR is so important. The finance can decide, oh, we have investment in where this, oh, yes, we can support it. The sales people can say that, oh, we need a van, we need this. You should be able to give us a van and we can go and do our work. The marketing will say, let's advertise here, let's advertise here, let's advertise here, and then we are gone. But HR must put in all these required competencies to ensure the organization. Again, for recruitment, also require communication skills, the recruitment supervisor, interview skills, analytical thinking, understanding selection tools, teamwork, customer orientation. You see how HR's work is very difficult. So an MD, what is the competency required? Deputy MD, what is the competencies required? General manager, what are the competencies required? HR manager, what are competencies required? They are very, very important. Now, when you do your competency profile per position, and then you are able to know the actual, the required, and the actual. Like I said, so this is what I was saying. You find out that for managerial competency and functional competency. So you even put a category into the competency. If you look at this, communication, public, leadership, training, material, which one is managerial? Which one is functional? Training needs assessment is functional. Material development is functional. Training evaluation is functional. But public speaking, communication, and leadership, they are managerial. So you also have to put those competencies into managerial and into functional, depending on the position. And after that, it gives you competency requirements and relevant training models. So let's say that the training and development manager, we find out that what is required, his actual is a 3. Achievement orientation, I mean, there's even none. I mean, he has all. Teamwork, I'm just saying it means that he has up to 3. Planning and organizing, he has 2. His functional competency, mechanical engineer, this is just example, he has 2. Mechanical equipment maintenance, he has 2. So if this is a resource, then you need to have specific training and you need to have specific models. So in this case, if a position of a supervisor, competency requirements is leadership and achievement orientation. So you have to recommend training models in leadership 1, communication skills 1, the art of motivating employees, providing effective feedback, achievement orientation, goal setting technique, work motivation.
Doctor, please, I think your slide is still on the competency profile per position.
Oh. Why? That's why I asked you, because it was telling me that it's paused. Okay, let me stop and share it again. Because it was telling me that my screen, the sharing is paused. Okay. So can you now see it? Hello?
Yes, madam.
Yes,
Sure.
we can see you.
Yes, madam.
So you see, after the analysis, you should be able to write the kind of training needs the person must do, the kind of training, the kind of models. And this is example that I'm talking about. Now, after all things are done, HR must have a system to put all this in a form of matrix. A form of matrix, like you see, for competency development. This one is development. So you've done all the analysis, then you say development. So for instance, position as supervisor, training title, managerial competency, you see that the V means it's very compulsory. Communications is compulsory for productive communication series for a supervisor. Leadership is also compulsory. And then you go to say manager, customer focus is also compulsory. My point is this: how many of our HR have time to do this and say that you as supervisor, you manager, you general manager, you compulsory need competency development in these areas? You see how that's make HR very important. And to do that too, you have to make sure that your training is very effective. if expected. Your material must be meaningful. Your material must have a system, must have a tendency, not a system, must have a tendency to transfer learning, provide for transfer to learning. So not just material, comprehensive material that has been developed, but should be able to have a way for you to learn, the employee to learn, and also motivate them. That will give your training effectiveness. Now let's look at it in modern organizations. In modern organizations, what do we see? Some people, depending on the organization they work for, they'll book a hotel for them. There's a 3-course meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, intermittent, how do you call it, snacks, drinks. Even in training, they provide them wine and beer. So what we see in some organizations is that no competency tax analysis are done, no nothing competency analysis is done, but the organization has a budget for training and it has not been utilized. So they bring it up and say, oh, we have this 100,000 that has not been utilized for any training. General managers, get yourself together, go and do this, go to some training. So they put up training. They get some consultants, put up some training. Oh, they are all in managerial. Oh, so the leadership. Or, oh, there's training in Harvard Business School, 1-week training, Yale, 5 days training, and go to Wharton. There's 5 days training. Oh, let's go to London Business School. They have good training programs, and because they are per diems, that's what. But the actual things are not done. But the subordinates, they will bring somebody, or they themselves will say, oh, there's training. Everybody come and be trained in safety issues. And where you have to assemble when there's fire outbreak. And when you are going out, put your light or put your AC off. So they gave them the basic things without properly doing analysis. Any question? Any question? Okay, let's move on. So performance management cycle. So performance management is also one of the fundamentals. In fact, if I have time, we'll look at performance appraisal into details. Look at the types, look at the challenge. I think we have some of them in the next slides, the others too. But performance is also very important. Now, who says performance is HR? HR must have a system in the operational activities that there's performance planning or setting that all members must utilize. Now we are seeing that the performance is regular review and monitoring of what people do and able to provide the feedback. So the feedback will show what action to take. But if you look at the arrow, it says that performance planning, setting of performance targets is a work of HR, and it's described as performance management cycle. So there's regular review as performance appraisal and monitoring, provides feedback, and action is taken. So when you are doing the monitoring, that's what you do, the appraisal, and you evaluate. Your appraisal and evaluation will lead into the following: training and development plan, salary and bonus adjustments, and career development. So when HR is doing performance management, they must have this in mind, that they will provide training and development out of the outcome of the appraisal. Some people, you have to increase their salaries and give them bonuses. Some people, you have to also improve their career. So that is the essence of it. Now, when it's required that the performance management cycle requires defining performance standards and targets, HR must have a system to define what standards it is looking for, the company is looking for, HR is looking for. Making sure that your subordinates agree to their duties and the targets that you expect from them. Having a performance appraisal means comparing your subordinates' actual performance to the standard or targets set. So the target could be that you'll be, let's say you're a lecturer, you'll be able to teach within the 6 weeks and examine. And by the end of 6 weeks, you are still at lesson 2 or session 2. So you have not been able to accomplish your target. So the performance at the end of it should be able to show that, oh, they set up 6 sessions for DL, HR informatics, but students say the lecturer did only 2, maybe only 2. So only 2 lectures. You haven't met the standard. So the standard from the department is that you must do 6. Provide feedback for development. You have to provide feedback for those of you who are working and you have superiors, they provide you feedback. Some do management that are walking about to see what you are doing. And informally, it's not formal, informally discuss with you what is lacking, what's the problem, what's the challenge, then anything management can do to improve upon what you do. Those ones are not part of performance appraisal. They're just providing feedback constantly on what you do. It has been said that there are common performance evaluation problems. We'll look into that seriously when we get to the next one. The lack of standards for the appraisal. So the manager or the superior use their own discretion. They use their own discretion. So we have a lot of issues, the halo effect issues coming in. Because you are my friend, wisdom is my friend. And because he's my friend, he's working under me, oh, I'll grade him very well. Or because we're buying lunch for you. That's what, oh, this girl there, she's good though. Anytime I'm coming, she comes from my bag. And then go and put it on, then ask me the lunch I will take. And because of that, when you're evaluating as a manager, oh, she's my friend. Oh, yes. Or somebody is stubborn. He's able to stand to management. When management says A, he says BC. And they do caucus meetings. This boy is stubborn. Oh. It's a problem for us. Oh, hey. Then when it comes to evaluation, performance appraiser, his boss will say that it's poor. It's because of a clash and all that. So people are so careful they don't clash. So we don't have healthy conflicts in our organization. But conflicts are very important in our organization. If you study management, it's a conflict is very important because conflict has a positive effect and also a negative, but a positive effect. The subordinate or employee is able to stand up to management may have reasons that management need to consider instead of victimizing the person. Irrelevant or subjective standards, negative communication, failure to apply the value are common of them. Now, those of us who have studied management process, we know that it has to do with planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling. And these are all managerial functions that HR has. Now, one of the important things we do is that when HR is at work, if you remember, we said fundamentals, practices, and whatever. What HR practically does is to build policies and practices involved in carrying out the people or the human resource aspects of the management position that includes the recruitment, screening, training, rewarding, and appraisal. So HR major work is to come up policies, regulations. When you come to the universities, we refer to as statutes. What are the statutes says? What are the basic laws says? So if HR is unable to develop policies, regulations, they have nothing to do. Those are the things that guide everything. And of course, nature of HRM is concern for people, how to apply management principles, which is the process we talk about: planning, organizing, leading, how to integrate mechanisms, things, issues, sanctions, things that will make the organization stand tall. HR must have a development orientation, not a static orientation, a progressive orientation for the organization. Continuous process, that's what we call total quality management. Always ensure that the sticky and people are improving on what they do, and they show comprehensive function of what they do, applicable to non-business organizations as well. They show direction towards how to achieve the objectives, and they have to be action. And the action, I will add proactive actions, not reactive. And skills process, if you remember when we did the competencies, the competency, tax competency, and the analysis and all that shows that they have to have skill process always, know who can do what. And also, we know that it's everywhere. And it's also multidisciplinary. It's multidisciplinary because when you study HR, it gives us the idea that there's a bit of sociology, there's a bit of anthropology, there's a bit of economics, there's a bit of whatever to the study of management. Its objective is to satisfy employees. So HR does not look at the needs of employee satisfaction. Is very bad. It has to build a proper organizational structure, what we call the organogram, employee discipline, and morale, very important. Ensure that the organization is productive. Ensure that the goal set by the organization in its strategic plan is harmonious to what it does. If you remember, I think we talk about rhetoric and reality. HR must ensure that there's reality and the organization moves away from rhetoric talks, development of human resources, effective utilization of resources. One of the functions which are silent, they are silent. What I mean is that studies doesn't talk too much about it, but it's very important. It's how HR allocates resources. Now, let me ask you, in your organization, where do you see HR allocating resources? Yes, where do you see HR allocating resources? Yes. Oh. Allocation of
salaries.
Okay. Okay. Resources.
Medical and overtime allowances.
Okay, mo pescapa you.
In the area of training and development.
Training and development. Okay. What others? When you go to work, who provide you desks? Who provides you your tools to work?
HR.
Yeah. You see, HR ensure that when you go to work first, they'll do the orientation, they'll take you around. They'll take you to your office and say, this is your desk. This is your superior. This is your table. I mean, this is your desk. This is your computer. These are the tools you need. So HR share resources. Even though we may have procurement agents, units there, when the things are procured, HR must ensure that they are properly shared or allocated and respect for human beings.
Madam, please, can I ask a question?
Please do.
Please, don't you think that with this particular aspect, it's dependent on probably what the organization is into? Because my end, for instance, is not HR that is in charge of that, it's the administration. But even the administration is fused into human resource, but it's a two different separate units.
Okay.
When you are a new staff that you have been recruited or enrolled, it's HR's duty to orient you on the policies and regulations of the organization. But when it comes to this logistics for you to work with, it's the duty of administration to do that. So I was asking that, don't you think it's dependent on probably what the organization is into or something?
That's fabulously true. Organizations are not the same. They have different mandates, different policies, different strategies. Now, in some organizations, administration is also still part of HR. But in other organizations, we call it general administration, and the HR is also separated because they think the HR has a lot to offer and they must have time to concentrate, especially in the larger organizations. But in smaller organizations, they are fused. The administrative work is also part of HR, and there will be one in charge of administration in the HR department. So yes, I agree with you. It's dependent on the organization, the size of the organization as well. Please, are you okay?
Yes, please.
Good. Any other person with any question? So let's also take note that HR has some functions that we call managerial functions, operative functions, and advisory functions. HR managerial functions look at the HR planning. In fact, human resource planning is the whole topic on its own. But we did manpower planning, the same thing. Organizing to ensure there's proper coordination. The work, everything is done. So if you are employed, you don't get up and say, they didn't tell me where I should go, so me, I'm going to anywhere. No, proper coordination. Directing this leadership essence that are shown, and also monitoring and controlling so that things are done well. So these are the results, you can read them. Now, the operative functions is what we call the functions, the actual functions, the fundamental functions or practices. That is the recruitment and selection they have to do. They also have to do job analysis and design. Now, what is seen here, job analysis and design here, informs HR to draw the organogram. Informs HR to draw the organogram, the organizational structure. Performance appraisal, training and development, wages and salary administration, employee welfare. Now, the employee welfare has changed. There are studies that are showing that employees, organization must now look at the mental health of employees. That some people also smoke marijuana. They come to work, they sniff cocaine. So these are things. And then sexual abuses. These are contemporary issues that HR are dealing with. Office romance. Office romance. The managing director having an affair with some people. So when you have policy on sexual, what is he going to do? He will shelf it. But contemporary, these are issues that are coming up strongly. Mental health of employees. HR has a system to diagnose, to help, support. because there are emotional torments. Marriages are slipping. Children wayward. People are facing challenges. Even finances are difficult. And it's affecting people to come to work and deliver. They are under pressure. And so some of them resort to social loafing. They become highly disengaged. There must a system. Pressure. You say the two, to be under pressure, and the other one is what? There are two things. Pressure and what? Someone should help me.
Now, please, the screen, I think it's still on operative functions.
Yes, I'm on operative functions. Yes, I haven't moved.
Stress.
But the pressure and then the other one is what?
Duress and coercion.
And that is also there. But usually we talk about the two stress. Stress.
You mentioned stress.
Stress. Oh, you mentioned stress. Thank you. Stress and pressure. And they say one of them is good. Which one is good, Esther? Which one is good? Stress and pressure. Which one is good?
Them is good though.
None of them is good. Hey.
None of them is good. Not at all.
Esther, they say one of them is good though.
Mm-hmm.
They say one of them is good.
The stress and pressure.
I think the pressure is good than the stress.
I would say
Pressure
they say pressure is good.
It entails a
Now,
whole lot. But
now,
with the pressure, you can manage it.
But they say stress there. Esther, that's what I don't know whether social psychologists or whether clinical psychologists are saying it too. But they say one is good. But you see,
okay.
Tell us.
I don't know how to explain it, because when you are under pressure, that is when stress is induced. Or when you have stress, that is when pressure is induced. I think they both go together. I don't know how you have stress and you will be under pressure, and then you have stress and then you are under pressure and you wouldn't have stress. I don't get it.
So Esther is talking from a medical point of view. So
Thank you.
we have to do a study. We have to do a study and refute it that they are none good. When they are saying that pressure is good and that some people are able to work under pressure.
No, when you work under pressure, I mean, medically, it doesn't add up. It brings a lot of complications. So I don't know how one is better than the other.
Some people are able to work under pressure. Some people are able to work under pressure.
Yes, I know some people can multitask. But I the long one, that's what I'm saying, that complication can set in. So let's take it that I'm a bank manager. I'm always sitting down. I have to be on my seat to do all these tasks. I'm under pressure to meet a target. So I go to the office about 4, 5, 6 hours. I'm on my seat. I don't get up. At the end of the day, I can have DBT.
Yes.
Yes,
your
I'm working under
swollen.
pressure. Yeah, I can have DBT. I'm stressed out. It brings stress. So the moment your other condition comes in, definitely you're going to be under stress because you now have to now take. So I don't think none of them is good. I don't know how.
Okay, thank you very much. Esther is talking from a medical point of view that the none is good. But
Madam,
these days,
would say, with the pressure, sometimes it's as a result of our own negligence. Especially, we know we have work to do, but then we'll wait until we have to meet deadlines or auditors are coming, then we are struggling to get things done. So it puts us under a lot of pressure. Sometimes, too, people don't do their work, and because of favoritism and other things, it is added to that of other employees. So it was putting them under pressure. In as much as it sometimes gives you that advantage, like you are good, you become a multitasker, your speed and time and other things, it is what will push you to be stressed. So that pressure will later push you into stress. So it has the advantages and disadvantages, madam.
All right. So, like you have said, that's fine. But we should know that contemporary, our business environment, organizations are now, especially HR, are supposed to incorporate some of these things that first we thought they are very far. How can you go and talk about sexual issues in the office? But they are there. But now HR are supposed to look at this. That could be a very beautiful lady who had just left, the university, so vibrant. Then sees this old man who has 5 years to retire. And because he's reporting to him or her, him begins to frustrate the person. There are many instances where some ladies even leave. But ironically, these days, not only the men that are frustrating the ladies, so some of the ladies are also disturbing the men, the young men. So it's vice versa. And these days, these are very important, that HR must ensure these things are not, even if it's not curbed, it's minimized, as well as mental health, as well as stress issues, as well as things that will motivate the employees. That's why sometimes we have what we call non-monetary rewards. You have to tell the person you have done well. Handshake. When you go to the banks, they put employee of the day, the month, employee of the year. When you go to others, they say, oh, the best worker, the best this. It psychs them, the individual. It motivates them. It increases their ego and drives their performance because they think that they have been recognized. You've been recognized as having achieved something. Sometimes there are monetary rewards that also motivates them. Maybe a team, they've done very well. They've exceeded the expectation of the company. So they do that. So HR has these all operative functions, maintenance of things. Some organizations may have a maintenance unit, but they still work with HR to ensure that these are done properly. Labor relations. We'll look at labor. So then personal research and personal record. Now, personal research, it's so funny. HR has everything to do with everyone, but at the same time, they must do some personal research about people. It's a bit unethical because they have to ask you. However, if they ask you, it may have positive and negative effect. Let's take, for instance, somebody who comes to work always late. The work's supposed to start at 9. She's always reporting 9:30, 9:45. The superior asks the person, why are you coming to work late? Oh, giving flimsy excuses. But the actual reason is not communicated. Maybe the person lives at Hacho. Because of mingled salary or very small amount of salary, the person has, say, 3 children. They are in school. Wife is not working, just completed school. It's so difficult for them. So even taking trotro is a problem. So this person decides that he walks from home to, say, Tesano. The whites are very good at them. When children come to school and they show some unusual behaviors, They don't just go and ask, but they do personal observations. And that's a personal research. That we have some people, we are working with some people, you are able to tell that the person is actually in need. The person has a problem. They've been jilted. Somebody has been jilted by a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and it has effects. Sometimes you are not bold enough to ask. You are the superior, you cannot ask. You think you are prying into their private issues. Or probably they won't even open up. But you can tell that something is eating them up. The work of HR to find them. There's a time that in some organization, there's somebody who traveled outside and came to work with them. And I think over there, the wife, you know, these women, our sisters in USA, sometimes they are a problem to their husbands. And then the man had, out of that, developed mental problem. But he was a lecturer. Can you imagine a lecturer of a mental problem teaching you? And people didn't know. So his behavior showed him up. So some people began to do personal research about him. They look for relatives. They find out, HR found out that, oh, he has a problem. Some of them can be quiet. You can be sitting the same, staff come on with, they won't utter a word. You do say things that are funny, they won't laugh. They won't even giggle than to laugh. They are personal problem. And the HR has a duty to do this personal research of people to know who they are and offer help, not to know who they are and come and broadcast. Hey, sana someone to no. Know to whom they are and offer psychological, clinical psychologist support. Like I told you, contemporary, in some organization, they found out that the staff, some of them smoke marijuana and they come to work with it. So at the least thing, they are provocated. Least, they are provoked. At the least statement, they are provoked. And so these are contemporary HRs and then also personal. Again, they're also supposed to offer advice. So you can read them. Advice. Advisory function. HR must offer advice. Advice to top management on what to do. Advice to departmental heads. And all that. So HR at work, we see that they acquire. When you read other texts, they say acquisition is the same as recruitment and getting people. At work, we expect them to do training, appraisal, compensating, labor relations, health and safety issue that has to do with the welfare. And then they have to be fair. They have to be fair. Now, one of the basic HR concepts is that they have to get results. HR must help employees and help the company to get results. Now we have line managers who do the direct work and staff managers who assist. We are not interested in this. You can read them later. Now I want you to know that the HR resources, HR has specialization. In the big organization, you see recruiters, people who are only in charge of recruitment. You see those who are in charge of equal employment opportunities coordinators, equal employment, the EEO. Those who are in charge of job analysis, who look at compensation alone, training and labor issues. That's specializations. Now, this is a typical example of an organogram, organizational charge of HR issues. You can see that there's a tall list. I want you to see that there's a policy development and analysis and administration support. Can see total compensation awareness. Can see system support and data integrity. Employment Service Center. Operation and employee development. And under them, there's many, many things. You see, Employment Center, for instance, you see human resource counseling, personal transaction audit process, data entry. That's so many things. In a large organization, HR has a lot to offer. But in a short organization, small organization, not short, small organization, it's just a human resource manager. You may have a control, a coordinator, and then the generalists, which we call the administrators. Now, the changing environment of human resource are these. When we do the contemporary changes, you know a lot about it. But what we are saying is that even though HR has evolved from personnel administration to personnel management to HR to strategic and whatever, there are factors that are forming or making this change come to. Globalization is one. Technological issues are one. The nature of work. Look at us. Nature of work has changed. Hitherto, either we have a learning center somewhere and then we will travel and come and teach distance, or you will travel and now we are doing Zoom. Workforce demographics, the Gen Zs, their style of work is different. They believe in IT things than the baby boomers and all that. So because of that, there have been changing role of human resource. Now, human resource management are now being seen as strategic human resource management, strategic. Because all our focus has been that the strategy of the organization must be linked to that of HR strategy. Again, HR must, the one changing role is that it must create high performance work systems. High performance work system. It must measure the HR team's performance and must manage with the HR scorecard. We do performance scorecard, so you understand. It must measure what is done. Like I said earlier, training has to be measured. We know technological applications of HR. There are a lot of them. Application service providers, web portals, the PC high-speed access, streaming desktop video, the mobile web and wireless net access, e-procurement. We have internet, intranet, network monitoring software. Bluetooth electronic signatures are acceptable in our organization. They are all HR technological applications accepted. Electronic bill presentment and payment, data warehouses, and computerized analytical programs. These are technological applications for HR. So the high performance systems, employment security is there, selective hiring, there's extensive training, HR is well managed, there's decentralized decision making. So under the high performance work system, this is what HR must do. Must reduce status distinctions. This person is this person is not this, and all that. Information sharing. There should be contingency rewards, payment for performance. They must show transformation leadership, not transactional. Measurement of management practices, emphasis on high quality work. So in the contemporary HR practices, we want to see high performance work system. And it has benefits, of course, but it has benefits. It has benefits. The HR, measuring HR's contribution, the HR score shows that there's quantitative standards. So there are metrics, the evaluation. Metrics means the percentage of what the firm uses to measure HR activities. Measures the employee behaviors, which is a bit contentious, because how do you measure behavior? Behavior is qualitative, what you put up, but they are measured through the activities that they do. measures the strategically relevant organization outcomes. The output is measured for employees' behaviors. Human resource managers are now supposed to be very proficient. You have to be proficient in HR issues. You must know, look at all the things that we haven't gone anywhere. HR must be proficient. They must also be proficient in the business of the organization, the type of business the organization carry out, the type of things they do, what they exist to do, their mission, their leadership proficiency, their learning proficiency. So if you're HR, you have to be proficient in HR issues, business, and leadership. And there's a study that shows that HR has effect on the outcome. You see, a percentage responding large effect of or critical factors. When you take customer satisfaction, when a CEO believes HR capital has business outcomes, it's about 90%. Profitability, 82. Innovation and product development, HR's role is about 87. Success, integrity, and acquisition, 87. Revenue per employee, and speed of marketing. So there was a study by Stevens and Bates, Bates, business partners, that shows how HR involvement has been. Now, this is just an advice. Those who want to become HR, you need to go through the certification. HR is becoming more professionalized. The Society for Human Resource Management, you need to join. Even Ghana, we have one, Strategic Human Resource Certificate Institute. Ghana, we have one. Senior Professional in HR Certificate, Professional HR Certificate. You have to go and join the association. And on that. Proficiencies also managing within the law. So we have those, like I told you, equal employment opportunities coordinator. There are people who are just that. And also you have to manage your ethics, ethical lapses, like the Service Oxley 203, there was a problem. So HR is not there to manage proficiencies. You have to manage the law. As I told you, do the law and then the ethics. So that brings us to the end of session 1. Any question? Any question? Now, as usual, I have another class at 10:30. So take your lunch break from 10:30 and let's come back at 12. Last time we came around what time?
12:30, madam.
So 12:30.
12:30.
So we'll come and complete the other ones. So let me say I have some few time before 10. Let me we have just 10 minutes. I'll use just 10 minutes. Now, let me say that we did the comparative perspectives on Ghana, UK, US, and Germany about legal issues and industrial relations. Now, legal frameworks, what does it do? Why are we interested in legal issues for HR? It is very important because governments have what you call constitution. In the constitution, there are labor issues. There's a whole ministry on labor. Why must they have that? Because it's very important to the effective and efficient running of even countries. So legal frameworks, that's what they regulate employment relationships. The labor unions, they are there just to regulate relationship. What kind of relationship? The employer and the employee. They're also there to protect workers' rights. Our right to work and be compensated. Promote industrial harmony, not your way. Hey, no. Look at the fact that Cocoa Board staff they should agree to reduce their salary. Why on earth is this said? Ensure fairness and justice. So we study legal, industrial issues because of this. Because we have to regulate employment relationship. HR must ensure that the legal frameworks are ensuring that protecting workers' rights, promotes industrial harmony, ensure fairness. Now, when we come to Ghana, as a source of labor law at the 1992 Constitution, the Labor Act 203 at 651. I have a lady, if she has time, I'll call her to come and give us some few talks on the law. She's very good. Well, the Factories Act 1970, collective bargaining agreements, we are also guided by International Labour Organization conventions. When we go to UK, their source of labor is the Act of Parliament. Their common law, and they have what they say called retained EU law, and they have collective agreements. When we go to US, they have the federal status. They have NLRA, FL, whatever, federal something. They have the state labor laws. They have court decisions, and they have executive orders that guides them. When we go to Germany, they have the basic law, that the word that's in German, I can't pronounce it. They have federal labor status. They have work council agreements, and they have collective agreements. So constitutional labor rights, Article 24, rights to work and unionize. When I'm working for an organization, I have the right to work, and I have the right to join the union. The Article 17 said non-discrimination. If my head is big, my nose is big, and I qualify to give me the job. If I'm from Boliga or I'm from Suhum, you have to give me the job. And the more important one is protection of women. So we are not discriminated against. 27. In Germany, if we look at Ghana, Germany, we say that they have strong constitutional protection. UK is more statutory protection. But USA is a limited constitutional labor rights. What is the labor legislation or law in Ghana? Ghana, we have Labor Act 203, Act 651. We have the trade unions and collective bargaining. Always. The tripartite, they'll meet. This is the labor law, the premium, the labor market this, collective bargaining. Dispute resolution. When there's chaos in one, you see labor law. You see trade unions, if they are members of the trade union, you see them talking. And we have the National Labour Commission. In UK, they have Employment Rights Act. In US, they have Employment at Will. And in Germany, they have Works Constitution Act. Termination of employment, comparison. In Ghana, we have fair termination required. So the law is there. When you are terminating somebody's appointment, you must ensure that it complies with the law. Fair termination is required. You can't terminate somebody's appointment just like that. In UK, they have unfair dismissal protection. If you dismiss somebody, there's something in the clause there that protects it, called unfair dismissal protection. In USA, they have employment at will. And in Germany, they have strict dismissal laws. So when it comes to employment termination, these are there. Now, collective bargaining in Ghana is a constitutional recognized one that at the beginning of the year, some people meet and then they talk about it. In UK, it's voluntary. But in USA, it's election-based. And in Germany, it's a sectorial bargaining. But Ghana is a constitutional one. How are disputes resolved? In Ghana, it's a national labor law. They come in. In UK, it's employment tribunals that solve those problems. In USA, they call it the NLRB. And in Germany, they are labor courts. The role of the states in Ghana is active regulator. Ghana is the active regulator for labor issues. In UK, it's a legislative oversight. So they have the law that looks at it. In USA, it's a limited intervention. And Germany is a social partners. Now, lessons for Ghana. You see, UK have efficient tribunals for labor issues. USA have flexible labor stance, flexibility. And Germany has worker participation. So Ghana has a strong constitutional backing. Germany offers best worker protection, but USA prioritizes flexibility. And we see that UK lies in between. These are just tip of the iceberg. Tips, because if we want to study it, if we want to go into details, it will take us a whole month, and your program is 6 weeks. So we've just done a summary for you. But this summary is just point. But I will make sure if I get that lady to come. Next week is face-to-face. She will not do face-to-face. So maybe our next meeting, call her to do a presentation. Her focus will only be in Ghana. Her focus is only on Ghana. To do an in-depth analysis of our labor laws and our rules in Ghana for us. When we come back, we are going to look at the next one. When we come back, we are going to look at the part 2, essentials. Essentials. Any question? Any question for me? I've seen that some of you have sent your work. And so I'll look at it, but I want to find out whether next time we have to upload them into the Moodle platform. Some time ago, we were told that the Moodle platform, the learning LMS, was overburdened because we were asking students to upload everything there, and it was a problem for the university. So I don't know. I'll ask before we begin to utilize the Moodle platform for the LMS for work. Any question?
Doc, please,
Yes.
with your last, Esther here, with your last slide, I've seen some online quiz. Is it today or next week?
You saw what?
I've seen an online quiz. So I'm asking whether it's today or it's next week.
Please help me. I didn't get it. You see online.
All right. So what I'm saying is your last slide, just the presentation we had. I've seen online quiz, and I'm asking whether it's today or next week.
Online quiz. Oh. Why you want to do the quiz?
No, I'm just asking. I just surprised. So
apparently, I'm not prepared on anything. Don't worry.
All right. Thank you.
I'm not prepared.
Right.
On the study guide. Okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
My question is on the appraiser. You were saying something that sometimes you may have a problem with your superior, or you might be troublesome, and then due to that, you can be appraised like wrongly or something. This thing does happen in the organization, especially between the superiors and then the subordinates. the little thing you do, or maybe when you offend the person, or the person have some grudges with you for some reason, no matter what you do, the person is not pleased with, and that the person gets the opportunity to mafia you during the appraisal.
Yes.
When happens, and then you know that all the tasks that were given to you, you've achieved it. You were able to do your part, but the person is still grading you down. Please, what do you do?
Okay. So your superior has a superior. Your superior has a superior. That's why in some organization, they also do the 360. It's not only your superior that assesses you, you also have opportunity as well as other stakeholders. But coming to your question, I see that, let's use myself as an example. I have an HO, the head of department. And this head of department, maybe I have issue with her, so she's always grading me wrong. I have a dean to report to, for the dean to look into the issue. And in this case, you have to be very frank and open to your dean about other issues you have identified. Maybe you have had a crash with the person or whatever. Because if you don't say those things, what is likely to happen is that he or she will also listen to your superior and take a face value of it, and you'll be hurt. Sometimes even reporting to the other superior will even take sides. Have you noticed that in our organizations, we are all able to know that have you noticed it?
Yes, please.
Aha. So onye no, it is not only your superior that knows that onye. The other, hey, today you are not coming. Yolanda. Where's the macho? Or you have been here all along?
Madam, please, I've been here.
Okay, I will let you ask your question. So, because you see, when we are working, yes, I accept that the elements of our superiors being difficult, but we must also be very careful what we do, because everybody knows everyone. In a department, we all know each other. We're all late. This person is always late. This person is lazy. This person is always giving excuses. And who is that? Ayuba. Ayuba.
Yes.
Please, mute yourself. You and Nina Kwa. We are not here to listen to you, or I should leave the season for you. Please. So what happens is that in the organization, we work in department. In the department, everybody knows who everybody is. This person is lazy. He's always coming late. He's always giving excuses. The work, he won't do it all kind of things. And these things are known not only by your superiors, but other superiors as well. So we need to conduct ourselves very well. Yes, there's cases where the superior is also known to be wicked. It's known to be very difficult. Who is a perfectionist. Wants everything and all that. Yeah. So you have to know who you are. But in worst case, you have to report your superior to his superior. Have I answered, Alice? So, Yolanda, let me hear you.
Madam, please, good morning.
Morning.
Actually, my question is, according to what you said today, the HR is expected to support everyone in the organization, like complaints, stress, trauma, layoff, personal crisis. I am also asking that who also helps the HR when she or he is going through the same thing?
Thank you. That's an excellent question. We said, if you remember, we said that HR develop policies. The policies are not only for subordinates, it's for even the MD to the least in the organization. So the policies shows that times HR manager says, I'm going on leave. He's entitled to leave. You understand? HR is also, if HR manager misconduct himself, it comes up. Let's say that an HR manager is always taking people's files somewhere. There's some organization, you see HR manager taking people's files, destroying people's files so that information will not be seen. If it's found out, then the sanctions are there. They develop it. They're also supposed to face it. They face the sanctions. They also face the same thing. That's why we should develop a lot of policy. I think along the line we said that they have to come up with all the policies and show all the practices, show all the sanctions in the organization. So
okay, so madam, what about when like it comes to the emotional part, or maybe the trauma?
The trauma.
Yes. Who like also take, I don't know whether part
who
or
also
care of
helps
that.
the HR.
Yes.
I get your question.
Yes.
So the HR has been doing this for all people all the time. Who, it's like pastors. They ask the question, who also listens to the pastor's problems? For the pastors, they have what we call leaders or elders who are supposed to be vigilant and know that the pastor is suffering or this. In some churches, they have a system where the leaders should be able to know, get closer to the pastor and know whether there are challenges. The pastor that opens up is supported. Yes. So who helps the HR? I'm giving it to us a question. Go and research on it and bring it to us next week.
Madam.
Yes. Yolanda, are you
Please,
okay?
I don't know if
Madam, are you giving to me or the whole class?
You alone.
Madam.
Yes, Alice.
I'm saying that I think last week you asked us about some institutions that have council units and other stuff. So I believe that once HR also is obliged to follow the policies and rules and regulations of the institution, then basically if that particular HR is emotionally emotionally imbalanced or unstable, and if that organization has that set up, that council unit, I think the person can also visit that unit and probably they might help that particular HR to come out of whatever situation he or she is also going through. Because Yolanda was making reference to this situation whereby the person is emotionally traumatized or something. So once that unit is built for the entire organization, I think
okay,
they can
so
also...
Mariam, let me also put it this way. If you know that unit to automatically be under HR, so if like a caregiver burden has nowhere to be solved, how come? I don't know whether you really get what I'm saying. Because you're talking about counseling and that one is under HR. So if the person, even the one in charge of what you are saying, like me like this, I'm like a doctor, I'm sick. I know like my colleague doctor can take care of me. What if that is, I don't know whether you really get my question.
I get your question, but
Yolanda, so
how Yolanda,
can
I don't
the CEO and the rest, who supports them? That's what you mean. But we know that the rules and regulation binds everybody. But your question is very unique in terms of counseling, in terms of when they also have problems, in terms of where should they go?
Exactly.
Okay, Jonathan is coming. You tell
So
us where they should go.
in that case, my suggestion would be it shouldn't the HR shouldn't necessarily confine itself with the institution where it operates. Of course, like Madam said, you can outsource our external help that you can seek. So not necessarily within the institution or the organization. With such, you can equally step out of the organization and seek help elsewhere. Thank you.
That's Jonathan's suggestion. But what I have seen, I didn't want to talk about it. What I've seen is that instead of those in management position taking part in what is offered, they hardly do that. They hardly do that. And interestingly, you also hardly see them in that position. Most of what is so obvious is a sexual harassment that we see that a boss is doing some of these things and he needs counseling. Hey, you live in Zongo and you are going to tell the you live in Zongo. How can you go and tell them? So it's a challenge. It's a big challenge because
Madam, I think HR being the central pillar of every organization, I think most of the organizations don't treat HR professionals well, or because they see the work not to be like as tedious as others.
But see, that's why now we have specialization. That's specialist. So you don't carry everything on board like we have discussed. Do you get it? But honestly speaking, they may have solution. You know, some companies, they even have health centers that they visit. So if the HR has an issue, they may go to the health center and seek support. So I think that is it. But obviously and technically, some of the issues become difficult to discuss. Some of them, that one there is true. You can't go to your boss and tell the boss that, hey, this is the thing that you are doing. Be careful. Unless you have a rapport with the person and you can go and say those things. Yeah. But I think some have medical centers that they go for visits and they are supported. Any other? So, Yolandi, you are saying that they are supported. They get the big sums. So if they have issues, they should solve their problems. They are supported. Okay.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much. So I'll see you 12:30. I'll tell the HR, the distance learning coordinator, if you are there, don't put us off. Don't do what you did to us. Are you there? Are you there with us? ICD. Okay, I'll call them. So thank you so much. I'll see you at 12:30.
Okay.
A local movie. So who can tell me these days where some of the adverts come? Where these days?
Social media.
Social media. I go to YouTube before it says that something has popped up.
Yes.
But they said that local movie theater screens or pre-show entertainment are creative recruitment methods. So recruiting and creating a pool of candidates, even if there's no vacancy. Internet recruitment, we'll talk about it. People are seeking jobs from the internet. Then there's global internet recruiting. You use the internet job boards, Yahoo, Hot Jobs, Ghana Jobs are all areas to get something to do. These days, LinkedIn also. Professional career websites like www.strategichrm.com.org. Employer web. So these are internet one. Now the selection methods, we have individual interviews or We have a panel. We have assessment centers. Now, those things that we didn't talk about in our previous lecture is that what we are talking about here, that we may have to go and do some kind of test. We have what we call psychological tests, intelligence tests, personality tests, ability tests, and aptitude tests. Previously in Ghana here, when you are going to be employed, you go and write aptitude tests. And the aptitude test shows your intelligence and your abilities. But personality tests were not done. But some organizations require your personality test. We'll look at them. Selection is actual either the HR units or the line managers. They all can do the selection process. Now, when somebody is being offered appointment, these are checks that has to be done. Your previous employment records. Maybe you went to steal money and you ran away. They have to find out. Your criminal records. Organizations need to know. Are you an ex-convict? Your drug test. Like I said recently, organizations are looking out for these things very well, the well-being. So mental health, counseling, issues about sexual advances and all that. But your education, your degree documentation, your professional certificate or license. Sometimes they're going to give you a card. They want to know whether you have a license and your motor records, using vehicle records. Your credit history, which is not very common in our land. But in some of the international world, they want to know your credit history. Are you somebody that takes loan and you don't pay? What's your credit history? Your honesty test. And this one is very serious. Some time ago, EcoBank had a system. When they are going to, some years, more than 20 years or so. When you have gone through the system, the applicant is invited. And then they can put the applicant in front, the corridor to the MD's office, maybe 3 or 4 applicants. Nobody will attend to them. They will just be there. The MD, from time to time, will come out. They were not checking honesty tests, though. They were checking patience, resilience. So one time, there's a story that the 4 applicants have been selected and they have to meet the MD. And they were just asked to sit somewhere, not knowing they were just sitting in the corridor of the MD. And the MD, one of his tests was to just get out of his seat, walk through the corridor. He will not greet them. He will just be listening to what they are talking about. He will just be watching them. So one time there were some 4 people. You just walk, call somebody to his office. What the person does, just listen to what is going on. So one time there were 4 people. And one of them said, what kind of organization bank is this? That applicants will just come and sit down. Did they think we don't have anything to do? One of them said it. The one that said, I don't even understand. We have gone through, we said we should come and meet the MD. Where is the MD? If the MD is busy, why didn't they give us time? Individual time that you come at 2, you come at 3, you come at this. Why are they wasting our time like that? The one said, we have come very far. Let's be patient. And the one said he's even attending another interview. So when it's a certain time, they don't come, you leave. So they were using that just to test their resilience and their patience. The social security number, your compensation records and all that. That's what sometimes they ask you, what do you expect to take from this job? So these are some backgrounds that are done. Again, sometimes they ask for references. They'll ask you to go and look for a referee to write something for you. HR does that. Referees from previous employers, your managers or supervisors, institutions or agencies. Referees from relatives, clergy or friends are not mostly acceptable. Now, this is what I always tell students. It's very important to me. When you work with HR and you are making a job offer, you have to take note of the following very, very well. And it's the final step in the selection process. It's often extended over the phone or maybe sent through a letter. The offer letter, if you are working HRM, tell your HR director or HR manager that all offer letters and all employment contracts should be reviewed by the legal counsel of your organization. You should not just write the letter and say, oh, that's how we have been writing it. Oh, that's how we do it. Every letter you write has to be reviewed by the legal counsel, job offer. Avoid giving promises about bonuses, work schedules, and other matters that may change later. So the reality and rhetoric, the rhetoric and reality. The offer letter and contract should make provision for individuals to sign an acceptance of the offer. What are the 7 recruitment strategies to improve your hiring process? The organization must have a brand. Now, when we talk about brands, you know, some of the brands are well known. Unilever, Nestle, Gogo, you know the brands. So HR must make sure that the company has a good brand. So the brand is what sets you apart from other hiring companies and make people, applicants, show interest. You can also do what we call optimize your career page in your website. Show candidates what you do, show the resources, promote open roles, share content, provide information, the kind of culture and all that. That is very important. You share the company culture on social media because it's a latest or a current areas to get information. And what we are saying, just to improve your hiring process. They may add or they may not. You have to leverage social media as a way to attract passive candidates on the platforms they spend most of their time. Create an employee referral. Some organizations don't want you. If for instance, I'm working at GCTU, to recommend somebody to come and work there. They don't like it, but some do it. We call it create an employee referral. Improve the hiring process with data and metrics. I've told you the HR is not data-driven, so the things that you are talking about must be data-driven. Now, interestingly, recruitment must also have a plan. HR must build a recruitment plan. Let's look at the plan. What is a recruitment plan? It's a properly defined strategy for attracting, hiring, onboarding the right talents for the organization. And again, when you are doing the recruitment plan, you must have a goal. You must know the number of people in the organization. That's the head count planning. You must have profiled the competency thing of ideal candidates. You must have what we call employee value proposition. Show the evidence and importance of hiring somebody. How attractive is that? You must have a recruitment marketing strategy. So how to get people, you might even have a strategy. That's not one of their plans. And as well as selection process strategy plan. How your onboarding process is, the tools that you are using, and of course, your budget. Very, very important. Now, why is recruitment planning necessary as part of hiring process? It's necessary because it saves you time and ensure you make the best use of your recruitment budget. Also help you make better hiring decisions. Make sure that your recruitment objectives are in line with company objectives. Ensure your recruiters and hiring teams are working to the same common goals. Focus your efforts on building the right talent pipeline. Also secure your budget so that help you to secure the budget that you need for the goal. Of course, defining your goals, we'll talk about them. The organizations are different, but some of the common goals include growing your head count, improving your diversity, different people in the organization, reducing your cost to make money for new hires, reduce the time taken to make new hire, you streamline recruitment process and reduce repetitive administrative issues. You have to empower hire managers to become more involved in their process, improve employee retention, you reduce how you rely on external recruiters and build a stronger talent pipeline. So defining goals are even not so cheap. Your recruitment plan must also have what we call forecast future hiring needs. It's believed that it's not 100% accurate, but then you have to ensure that you make a sensible prediction. That's why we talk about data. You can start attracting and nurturing the right talent proactively, and you can also plan your approach and budget well. Let's look at any new information performance management. What is it? It's an ongoing communication process that are done between employee and his or her immediate supervisor. So your superior and you, your supervisor and you. And what you do is that involves establishing clear expectations and understand about what? About the job, the essential job functions that you are doing. What is expected of you as an employee? How what you do can contribute to the goal of the organization. What the organization defines as doing job well in concrete terms. How employee and supervisor will work together to sustain or improve or build on existing employee performance. So the relationship you have as to what you can do must have all these things. How do we measure it? How do we identify problems? And how do we remove them? What we should know is that performance management is not something a manager does to an employee. It's not an exercise to force people to work better or harder. It's not something we use only in poor performance situations. We use it every time. It's not about completing forms once a year. It's not linear, straight line thing, like climbing a ladder. So we should understand performance management are not any of these. And so it has components. Because it's not any of these has components. We must also know that HR must have performance management planning, performance planning. What does it do? Comes out with objectives, how well the work should be done, why it needs to be done, and when it should be done. Components of performance management must show ongoing performance communication, short weekly or monthly status reports, meeting with employee, regular reports from employee, informal communication, what you call management by walk around and chat with employees, specific communication when problems crop up. Ongoing performance communication. Other components is how to gather data, how to do observation and document them. Ensuring that the manager is informed appropriately about what to focus on when it comes to improving efforts of staff, rewards, and discipline. Performance management components include performance appraisal meetings. You meet with your superiors to discuss what is going to happen, as well as performance diagnosis. We'll do organizational effectiveness diagnosis later, so you understand that better, and coaching, and rewards, and recognition. So HR must have performance plan, performance management, and this performance management must have a whole stories about components. But it's involved in setting objectives, carrying out the objective, being coached, and also being given feedback, assessing your objectives, and giving you recognition or rewards. That's the performance management cycle. What are the tools for organizations' performance management? HR can use previous year performance appraisal information, the job description, the strategic plan of the company, some operational plans of the company, departmental strategies, operational plans, employee objectives as tools to build performance management. The purpose is to increase productivity, is to help career planning, help the organization to succeed, give rewards to those who need to be rewarded, be more engaged with the workforce, identify and resolve performance challenges. Now, when you are doing performance management, you have to, performance appraisal, you have to set objectives. And objectives, the superior and the subordinate set must be smart, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. So by this time, by end of March 2026, I will complete teaching distance learning students, which I will achieve a teaching model for distance learning, something like that. So this should be specific, should be measurable, should be achievable, should be relevant and timely.
Doc.
Yes.
Please, with the performance management or the performance, please, where does the action plans comes in?
The action plans comes in when you set you set the targets with your superior.
Okay, thank you.
So objectives are what you need to achieve. KPIs, I'm sure you might have heard it. Key performance indicators are the measures that tell you if you are on the way to achieving your objective. So your objective must be smart. It must have quantitative metrics to help you to measure. So for instance, some of the performance KPIs may be, by the end of this first quarter, I will improve sales by 10%. By end of this quarter, I will do this by 20%. I'll bring 5 more people, 5 more clients to the company. So they are measurable. If at the end of the quarter you haven't brought any, it means you haven't achieved the targets, the objective that you set yourself to do. So they are indicators, and they give you an indication of what you are going to do. So the performance management becomes like a fuel gauge, your fuel gauge. You see the what is showing over the speedometer or whatever. In your car, their form of feedback tells you that your fuel is low. For the car to travel to Tamale, you need a full tank and even refill it. So performance indicators are very important. So examples are these. Your sales objective might be to increase sales from $40,000 in January 2026 to $10,000 by December. So you have a matrix, something that can be used to measure. Some KPIs could be in areas such as invoice size, number of orders that people will request, average order size, number of repeat orders from particular clients. Now, these are things that HR must ensure that the other persons working in the other departments do when they do their KPIs. How do we develop? One second, please. Develop criteria for success, standards for performance. So we want to understand that. So what will be the criteria for writing a good performance standards? They should include when, that's time. How good? They should have few errors, and they should also be able to satisfy who? Is the employee or the employer? Standards of performance are statements that outline what criteria will be used to determine whether the employee has met each objective. So it's important that there's something we call subordination of individual interest to that of the organization. So when you work in an organization, you must subject your interest to that. So the alignment of objectives requires that the component objectives, the departmental objectives, and individual objectives are all in sync. And you see, if you look at this, it's like a pyramid. And the component's objective takes paramount interest, and the department as well as your individual. We talk about ongoing performance communication. And it says it's also a process where a manager and an employee work together to share information about work progress, potential barriers and problems, and possible solutions to problems, and how the manager can help the employee. That is the ongoing performance communication. In most of our organizations, we see few managers doing that. They go to their subordinates and ask them what the issues are, how they are working, and all that. So it is a dialogue that links the planning and the appraisal together. I want you also to understand that there's a difference between performance management and appraisal. The management is the bigger thing the organization do. The appraisal is just the one between you and your subordinates, your superior. So the performance communication may involve suggestions, updates, feedback, questions, or queries, or commendations, or redefinitions. Now, performance management usually comes with reports, status reports, regular rating status reports, regular manager-employee, employer, manager-employee meetings. There should be regular group or team meetings with managers. And then informal communication. So after performance management, we have appraisal. This is where we identify and measure and manage human performance in the organization, the individual one. So we identify, that's why at the beginning of the year, the superior will call, the manager will call them subordinates. And they identify what they want to do. That's the target. The KPIs, they try to measure it and manage it. Now, this is very important to me. Challenges of effective performance measurement. We have said that you have to have KPIs. You have to have metrics. You have to have measurement issues. How do we do it? That we don't have challenges. How do we do it so that we don't have challenges? Studies have shown that there are usually challenges with the metrics, with the measurements. One challenge is called central tendency. Central tendency. I used to have a lecturer who was teaching some students. The lecturer was not marking students' examination questions, examination papers. So all he was doing was that every student, there were no brilliant students, and there were no daft students, but they were all on borderline. So curious as I am, I didn't understand because I was managing a program. I didn't understand. I said, if I look at the results of other lecturers and the performances of the students, I don't know why when it comes to this paper alone, everybody is B, C, B, C. So I went for the scripts and I went through and I saw that the lecturer was not marking, not even one red pen in the paper. And they said, hey, you are killing people. So one of the challenges with performance measurement, to be able to say that this is it, this is working, it's called central tendency. To put everybody in the middle performance categories to avoid the streams of good or bad performance. Oh, you are all average students. Oh, average. So everybody will get an average mark. It's a problem. There's that tendency, and it calls central tendency. It has to be avoided. Favoritism. Overlooking the flaws of favored or nice employees, especially those whom everybody likes. Favoritism. They won't use any metrics. They will use their head because I like Esther. So Esther. Oh, Esther. If it's Esther. Oh, okay. 95. There's another challenge called the halo effect. When it comes to performance appraisal, measuring the performance. The halo effect says that maybe Esther was coming to school and he bought me wache, some special wache. Oh, I'm coming, come and take my bag. I said, oh, Esther is a good person. Oh, hey, it's a good person. Pa. So if you are working, so you are manager, and one of the employees starts to show you favoritism, do you good, small. When it comes to appraiser, there's a tendency that you won't even check, use the performance matrix well. You'll be influenced. Letting one positive work force you, or work factor, something like affect your overall assessment of performance. So that is the halo effect. And then we have the horns effect. That one is the opposite of the halo effect. Letting one negative factor or behavior you dislike color your opinion of other factors. Like this one, I was telling some student that, 1 second. So the Horn's effect for performance appraisal matrix is that the manager or the supervisor feels somebody has done something negative, or feels that somebody, a subordinate, is not respectful, so it clouds his mind. This person, you will see, when it comes to performance, I'll grade the head down. We have a PhD program with Ramaya University of Applied Science. And the Indians, when they speak English, you can't even hear them. So at one of their PRPs, one student stood up and said, you, professor, why you are saying we don't hear? We don't hear. And the mistake he made was that he also mutated. The man did not say anything. His PRP, he made him come 3 times. That's the Horn's effect. The opposite of the halo effect. Letting negative work factor or behavior you dislike color your opinion of others. Bias. Allowing your personal bias to influence the rating. Your personal bias. Why is this girl scoring 80%? You should not score 80. I'll give her 60. Your own bias. Then we have the recency. Rating only recent performance, good or bad. Data should be representative of the entire review period. So, not like if it's you are rating it for, say, from January to December, and then your concentration is only on October, November activities. That's not good enough. So these are challenges with our performance appraisals, effective measurement. Now, managing performance, the appraiser interview, we are asking, is it helpful or dreadful? Look at the man and the gentleman. They are looking at it, and you see the gentleman is really, really tense. Performance improvement is needed. You have to look at the causes of performance problems, situational factors or system factors, sometimes system factors, self, peer, and subordinate reviews, the 360-degree feedback. There are all ways to improve. So you don't do performance appraisal on one person. The superiors or managers are also assessed. Direct attention to the cause of problems and develop an action plan and empower workers to reach a solution. Direct communication at performance. And you're able to reward those who are doing well. Merit increases should be linked to performance. Exceptional performance from performers are easily identified and rewarded, and poor ones are disciplined. Let's move to training and development. Now, training is a process of provide employees specific skills. When we did competency, we said that if there's the need to have training skills for them. And John Lewinson says that knowledge management is the art of creating value by using organizations' intellectual capital. That's the human being. And training is also a process you provide employees with specific skills that will help them correct deficiencies in their performance, or the process whereby people acquire capabilities to perform jobs. But development is an effort to provide employees with the abilities and organization they need for a future. Like what you are doing is a development thing. Sometimes we used to teach students that what is the difference between training and development? Differences between training and development. We use variables like focus. What does training does is a current job. What does development? Development looks at current as well as future job. If we use the focus as a variable. If we use scope, training is individual employees. Development is work group or organization. Time frame, training is immediate, maximum 1 month or so, but development is long term, like you are doing. The goal is to fill some current skills deficit. But development is to prepare. So some of you are being prepared to take HR positions, administrative positions, general manager positions, and name them. I think we talked about training needs assessment in the previous study, how to analyze training needs, competency needs, and all that, and how to design specific training needs, select training methods, plan your content, who will deliver, schedule training, conduct training, monitor training, and measure it. That's why we talk about return on investment. Now, training needs assessment, we on our previous, we talk about two. We talk about task assessments and competency. But over here, you must also look at the organization-wide sources of assessment needs, grievances. People are not happy about something. It can inform your training needs. Accidents, maybe there was a problem, safety issues. Training observations. Maybe the previous training, you find out that the one delivering is not doing well, so it's not going well. Exit interviews. When somebody is leaving the organization, maybe has got another job somewhere, HR is supposed to do what we call exit interviews. At that level, the one leaving doesn't care anymore. So it's believed that the one will be able to be frank and give vivid observation, resentment, anything he has at it. And so we are saying that HR can use exit interviews as a trainees assessment, equipment use, maybe new equipment. The individual employee can also provide needs assessment thing. Can be a source. Assessment centers, performance appraisals that has been done previously, surveys, questionnaires, tests, job knowledge tools, and the job task sources, employee knowledge, skills, abilities are all additional training needs assessment. Now, when you are, I think, developing the training, you must have these objectives. We said that you have to create an objective in the previous, and the objective, you should be able to create objectives that are useful, to have knowledge, impact, cognitive information, and details to trainees. Skills, develop behavior changes in how jobs and various task requirements are performed. Attitude, create interest in and awareness of the important. So the training must have objectives. And one of the priorities are the knowledge you want to create, the cognitive abilities you want to improve, skills, attitude. I think the previous one we talked about the competences. Training can be conducted in phases. We can have the on-the-job training. We have off-job training. On-the-job training may be job rotation, apprenticeship training, associated with skills, trades, internship. People go and do internship just to have some employability skills. The off-job training can be formal classrooms you are doing, or having simulations, or doing what you call role-playing exercise in the classroom setting. Some universities have what we call walk-in information session. You come and sit in, or if we have walk-in, so walk-in, you come and sit in and understand what is being done. It's a role-play exercise in the classroom. So types of training can be skills training, retraining, cross-functional training, marketing, and HR training, audit and manufacturing unit training. That's a cross-functional. Team training. Team working together must have training. Creativity training. How to do brains, especially with the telcos. They do a lot of creativity training. Literacy training. To be literate about something. Diversity training. Is somebody telling me something?
No, madam.
There's somebody asked a question. What are the risks of focusing more on measuring performance and developing employees? Please, when you measure the performance, it will give you the competency gaps and be able to know how to develop the employees. That's my answer for you. Ethics training, the morals in the training, customer service training, and e-training. Now we are in a computer world, so you must have that training. Now, when you are doing the evaluation, I've talked about return on investment, types of measurements. One second. HR must not have training without measurements. So time of measurement could be participant reaction to training at the time of the training. That's why at the end of the training, they will give you a feedback and want to know. Most people will not talk about the content. They're all talking about the food. The food was not sufficient and the water was not sufficient. They won't talk about the salient things. The food, they should have served us small kokonte and this. You're laughing. We've all been going for training. Do you think it's the content you look at?
Training allowance.
It's a lunch time and the training allowance. How much are they giving us? The content. All the people are asleep. Participant learning of the content of the training. That is why HR requires that there should be an impact on the training to increase something. Participant use of their new skills and knowledge back to the job. If they do that, then the training was very useful. Companies return on the training investment. The company must have benefits from the training. That's what we call return on training investments. Training also have challenges. Is training the solution? Are you sure? Someone says you should develop the people, not the appraiser. They may have unclear requests, moral problems. So training may not be the solution. We are asking whether training is indeed a solution. It's a challenge. Are the training goals clear and realistic? Are the training goals clear and realistic? Is training a good investment? Will training work? These are some of the challenges. Compensation. We have said that the HR is not the one that pays, but the HR has a total role in the compensation. Now, there's what we call total compensation. This one is the total package of quantifiable, so figures, rewards an employee receives for his or her labor. So the money they give includes 3 components. Includes base compensation, pay incentives, and indirect compensation and benefits. So in the organization, you see that your pay slip, they have the base, they have the other allowances, and then they have the deductions. Now, one of the roles for HR is that they have to ensure that the compensation system is well designed. If it's well designed, then it is internally equitable. There's internal equity, the perceived fairness of the pay structure within a firm. Again, it is also externally equitable. When you perceive the fairness in the pay relative to what other employers are paying the employees in the same type of labor, then it should be the same. So, designing compensation, HR must ensure that the total compensation is internally equitable as well as externally equitable. You have to make sure that the job plus the resident individual pay are not below market, but should be above market compensation. But it may be a monetary or non-monetary rewards, the job. The pay can be open or a secret pay. You can have a decentralized system where maybe a department can pay themselves, or it's centralized. So what you are paying may be either below market or above market. Types of pay for performance plans: individual-based plans, team-based plans. When the team does very well, they are paid something. Plant-wide plans, corporate-wide plans, executive or salespeople. These are types of pay for performance plans. Any question? That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to be sure that I finish all these three. God is good. Any question?
Today has been very loaded.
Your course is a loaded one. Or I am loaded. Jonathan, am I loaded or your course is loaded?
The course is loaded.
The course is, you are doing this for 6 weeks. In elsewhere, we teach them for 13 weeks.
Wow.
13 weeks. So we were asked to develop a study plan and tease out the salient topics and teach. That's what we are doing. So if you want to go to the Yampong. So this is even a teased out slice. So assuming I'm bringing the full slice and I'm bringing you articles to read, because you need articles. You need to develop, like I told you, need to develop maybe a training program. You need to be able to do all those things. You need to come out with your own recruitment plan, which will inform your HR strategy one day. That little work that you have to do. Any question? Any question?
Madam, okay, so it's like performance management compulsory or really important in any organization?
Absolute yes. Absolute yes. Absolute yes. Yes. Yes.
Madam, Wisdom has his hand raised.
Okay, Wisdom.
No, thank you very much. So I just wanted to ask on the essential functions, are you going to share another slide with us on that? Looking at
I've
the
given you
performance
all.
management training
The only thing
compensation.
I have not given you is the only thing I'm not giving you is the law aspects.
Okay.
I've given them to you. You have all.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, okay. I hear the link is going to be used for the next class in the next 10 minutes. Oh, I was going to do my quiz. How? How come? Who is saying that? Eh? Who was saying that? ICD. You have shortchanged me. How? They've shortchanged me. Because I'm supposed to end at 2:30 because I was going to do my HR quiz. Are you asking me to do that for you, or it's what is this saying? Eh? Because I'm not done. If you want me to pardon you, then I'll understand. But if you are taking it from me like I have to stop it, I don't understand. Yes. Asiedu, talk and let's know the way forward. Because I'm now going to do my quiz. Oh, he's not telling me anything. Let me call.
Okay, madam, my
Yes.
last question. Most of the employees fear performance measurement, right? So, performance reviewers, like, so how do we change this?
They should do what is right. But most importantly, the superiors or the managers must have a system of carrying them along, and so that doesn't become it doesn't become fearful. Because many people fear performance appraisal.
Okay, so what about if you have an authoritative director or maybe a boss who doesn't listen, who doesn't care, who doesn't seems to be, how do you go by it?
If you have such a person, you must learn to accommodate the person. Okay, let me listen. Yes, Elvis. Afternoon. Why? Okay, because I
come back 10:30 and then 12:30 your class ends.
But then they have a break 12:30 to 2 o'clock. So I am using that time because I have another lecture from 10 to 2, 12:30.
Yeah, so exactly, if we are going to go by the 2 o'clock time, then that means we have about 15 minutes left before.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
All right.
I will finish soon.
All right, thank you.
So I will send you. Okay, no problem. No problem. Let's end. No problem. But I'll send you the questions on the HR quiz. I'll send them to you. Okay.
Okay, madam.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your time. I hear there's another lecture.
Before you end, hello, doctor.
Yes.
Please, before you just
Be on the or through the platform.
I'm not hearing you.
The assignment, send it on your again platform.
So the assignment, the first one I gave, I asked you to send it to my email. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to ask them because some time ago we're teaching Coventry and we're told not to ask the students to upload the assignments there because it was a problem, was overloading, but just the examination or something that should be there. Okay. So I'll find out what the situation is now. If we have to ask students to upload, then we'll do it there.
Okay, doctor. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you. I'll send you feedback on the assignment.
Okay, doctor.
Thank you.
Okay, doctor.
Thank you.